Morning, everybody. How you doing? Welcome back to the Spurs Talk Show. I'm Sean Butler. Bugsy Malone should be coming around the corner in just a second behind me. How are you? Happy Saturday. I hope you're happy and healthy, doing the things you love with those that you love doing them with. Please do me a favour, guys. There she is. Smash the like button for me on the video, like you always do. Smash the subscribe on the channel if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell and drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts on today's topic. Before I get into it, guys, if you wouldn't mind doing me a favour, it's a really important favour. In the description, there is a link to a YouTube channel that I've just set up called Sean Butler TV. And I really need you guys just to, there's no content on there yet, there's going to be, but I need you guys to click on it and hit the subscribe button. It's going to be used primarily as just a backup in case something happens to this channel. I won't bore you with the shenanigans, but something's going on. And if you wouldn't mind doing that, that would be great. And then, should I need it, I can pile into it. But there also might be the future usage of it for, you know, more variety, broader topics of Tottenham or other than Tottenham, etc., etc. So smash the subscribe on that if you don't mind, guys. And yeah, hit the notification bell on this channel. And of course, drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts on today's topic. And guys, look. It's the morning, it's Saturday morning. We now know Harry Kane has gone. He's left a message saying goodbye. Quite an emotional message from him. Basically saying, you're forever in my heart. I'll forever be one of your own. He wanted to say a massive thank you to basically everybody at the club, everybody around the world who supported him. The only group of people he didn't mention were the board. Everybody else, from the chefs to the coaching staff, to the cleaners, to the players, past and present, he was grateful to. And obviously that, you know, could lead you to think it was a little bit of an acrimonious exit. And the reason why that story has got slightly more legs to it is because of a voice note that was banded around yesterday that I heard that people were saying was Paul O'Keefe. And I don't know if that's Paul O'Keefe's voice or not, but I'm going to presume that it is, because a lot of people were saying it was. And the story was that all of that kind of last-minute shenanigans with regards getting to the airport, he wasn't allowed to leave, he was allowed to leave. Apparently it wasn't Daniel Levy trying to change the structure of the deal to cost Bayern Munich more money. It was actually, allegedly, a mechanism that he was using where the terms and the paperwork were changed so that if he had flown to Munich before those terms were agreed and then they were rejected when they were discovered and Harry Kane had still left the country, then he would have been guilty of breaking contract, and then Daniel Levy wouldn't have had to have paid him some sort of loyalty bonus that was owed. I don't know if there's any truth to it. I'm just reporting what I've heard and what's in the Twitter zeitgeist. If it is true, then it's a really deplorable way for Daniel Levy to finish his relationship with Harry Kane. And, you know, just, I guess, doubles down on people's opinions of him that he is just a really, I guess, greedy, difficult negotiator when it comes to, you know, moments like these, things like these, where he just doesn't have that kind of empathy to the situation. If it's not true, then whoever made it up is egregious and obscene with their mechanisms of trying to paint Daniel Levy in a bad light regardless. So I don't know where it falls, where the truth is, but like I say, that's in the news. But that might be one of the reasons why Daniel Levy wasn't given any particular thank you or goodbye. Neither was any of the other board from Harry Kane. Daniel Levy leaves a message saying basically the reason why we had to let him go is because he didn't want to be at Tottenham anymore. You know, Tottenham have tried for a long time to extend his contract, both in long and short terms, threw everything at him. But he made his mind up, and so reluctantly we had to let him go. And we wish him well, he's always welcome back, etc., etc. The Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust putting out a message which once again reads very unfavourably. The tone of those messages that the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust have been putting out recently seems very... They're very more angry and upset with the board than I've ever seen them before. This time they're saying that the fans' loyalty is being tested to the limits. I don't know. I mean, to me, I just don't see it like it's some massive shock and some massive negative. I just don't view it that way. I'd love to know, how you guys in the audience there are vibing about this. For me, if a player doesn't want to be there, then you've got to let him go. And if you know he doesn't want to go anywhere else other than Bayern, and if you know he will not sign a new contract, and Daniel Levy's made that clear, Ange Postecoglou has made that 100% clear, that for a long time Harry Kane's mind has been made up and has articulated it clearly that he won't sign a new contract, then to get max value out of him, I think is the absolute best thing you could do. The timing of it could have been better. Didn't need to happen 2 days before the season starts. And on that note, Daniel Levy was maybe holding out for max value at the expense of a couple of days. And that probably has disrupted Ange's preparation for Brentford. But I don't think the same excuse can be extended to any games after. So to get max value out of a guy that doesn't want to be here, and where there was only really one club that was able to fight for his signature, I don't see where the problem is. You could look at the historical record of Daniel Levy and say the only reason he wants to go is because you didn't back him, you didn't back the club, the managers, you didn't build a team capable of winning around Harry Kane. And to a degree, there's, in my opinion, truth to that. But at the same time, we have had many chances to lift trophies that we didn't quite get over the line. The league against Leicester in 2017, we had the better squad of those two teams. We got to the Champions League final, we got to other finals. So to say that there wasn't the opportunity for Harry Kane to lift the trophy at Tottenham, I just find a difficult one to get on board with. Could we have had a better team? Could the managers have been backed more thoroughly with better decision making over the years? 100%. When one manager wanted this player and Daniel Levy was presented two options, he usually chose the wrong one. I completely agree with that argument. But anyway, my point is, we are where we are. It is what it is. Harry Kane wanted to go. Daniel Levy got max value. To me, there's no point now in crying over spilt milk. Get up, get on with it. You scraped your knee, clear yourself up, and go again. I think Daniel Levy should be judged on what he does now over the next 3 weeks before the window shuts, rather than being judged because of an ultimatum, because of a formality, because of an inevitability with Harry Kane. It's what we do now. For me personally, I want to talk a little bit more about this gift Orban. I saw a thread this morning. I think it's from a guy, his name is B. I'll try and put it up. Now, I haven't had the time to go and verify if this is all true, but he's usually very good with his threads, and it's very reliable. So I'm going to lean into and say, I trust him on this one. If I'm wrong, I apologise. I don't want to send out bad information, but I think what he's saying is true. And he's telling the tale of Gift Orban, that this guy never played youth team football. He never even played football of any sort or any kind of competitive level until 3 years ago. He was picked up, he played for a Nigerian semi-professional team that you can't even find, allegedly, if you Google it, the name of the club. And, morning guys. And the story of this guy is that he does so well there that he ends up getting picked up by a second or third division Norwegian team. And he scores a goal contribution every point, I'm going to say 8-5 games. Like every 82 minutes, something like that. I'll put the stats up so you know I'm not making it up. 82 minutes or something. He then gets taken out of that kind of reserve team or the B team of that particular club, put into the A team where he's then playing Norwegian Premier League or top division stuff, where he improves his goals scored and goal contributions ratio to something like every 75 minutes. Something crazy like that. He then goes and does it again when he gets taken out of that league by Ghent, and he improves on his goal contribution ratios even further in a more competitive league. I think he also has the UEFA record for the fastest hat-trick ever scored, which is like 3 minutes and 12 seconds or something silly. And this season, he scored 5 goals in 3 games, which technically makes his goal contributions, his minutes per goal contribution ratio, shorter than it ever has been before at like 67 minutes. This guy is the real deal. At least on every level that you can measure him. You can only play what's in front of you. And considering this guy has never been coached from a young age, he's never been nurtured or developed in the ways that other players who have, you know, grown up around football have, then I think it just shows you the capacity in which we could be dealing with here. Is it a risk? 100%. Has he done it at any kind of top level? No, not particularly. He has done very well in the Europa Conference League and the Europa League, and his ratios of goals to games is equally impressive in those competitions. But of course the Premier League is a giant leap forward. But this guy, for me, just the story behind it gets you excited. That he's 21 years old and he's only been playing football ever since he was technically 18, and he's achieved everything that he's achieved, all these ratios and these ridiculous goal scoring records. And just imagine what he could do if he was given a bit of time to develop, a bit of time with some of the world's best coaches, playing around some of the world's best players. His dribbling reminds me of, I mean, the person in this Twitter thread talked about the crossing of Julian Alvarez, the dribbling of Suarez, and the finishing of Haaland. Yeah, those are obviously superlative names. I would take it down a little notch and say he reminds me a hell of a lot of a Steven Bergwijn type player, but who can finish. All the players that have gone before that look stocky, strong, tricky, low centre of gravity, very balanced with their physicality, most of those don't have the kind of finishing piece of the puzzle and can often disappoint. Players like Adama Traore is another great example, right? All the power, strength, acceleration in the world, none of the ability to finish. This guy can do all that stuff and finishes more frequently than basically anybody else in the top 5 leagues last year. He wasn't in the top 5 league, but you take the point. I think he had an XG of 12 and a G score of about 24. So he was scoring twice as many goals as he should have done based on the expected opportunity. I just don't see why we can't go after someone like him that's a powerhouse of excitement, and it'll only cost you 25, 30 million, and then that would leave hopefully enough money for us to then go and support the back line. Now, with regards to the back line, obviously the names we've been linked with, Todibo is a player that's emerging. He's heavily linked with Manchester United, as is Tapsoba, who's been linked with us for the whole summer. Liverpool are looking for another centre-back as well. So we've got a couple of teams that are in the Premier League that are probably not afraid to bid up. And they're looking at Inacio from Sporting, who, by the way, I think is a phenomenal talent. And I'd absolutely adore to sign him. The problem for me is, if Liverpool miss out on Caicedo and Lavia, and by the way, what an incredible story that is. Chelsea, Liverpool going back and forth. Chelsea not wanting to give up the goose. Now trying to sign both of them. Liverpool 2 days away or 1 day away from their campaign opener and they don't really have a defensive midfielder. They could score a lot of goals this year, but my word, are they going to concede a lot unless they figure that one out. So they're desperately looking for a defensive midfielder, which might take their eye off the ball a little bit with regards to getting a defender in. But if they do have time and if they do have that focus, then Tottenham are going to have to compete with, at least in the Premier League, 2 clubs that are bigger than us, that are bigger draws than us, and that probably have naturally bigger financial capacity than us to find centre-backs. I don't know if Tottenham are going to be able to convince someone like Tapsoba or an Inacio or whoever, insert Todibo, whoever you want there, someone who's an out-and-out centre-back. I don't know if we're going to be able to convince them to come in and then play second fiddle or competitive rotation with Van der Ven and Romero. Where I think the best and most obvious option is, I said it yesterday's video, so I don't want to repeat myself too much, but to go and get these utility players. Players that can play on the right, in the right back, should there be an issue with Emerson. Because I think we all understand, I think we're all on the same page. If Emerson goes down injured or doesn't suit the system, we are right up the creek without a paddle. Because Porro can't defend, and Jez Spence seemingly has absolutely no future at Tottenham, and apparently he's on the transfer list. So do we really have enough budget, even with the 80 million or 90 million that's going to come in from Harry Kane, to go and get a forward to replace Harry Kane and to help out on the width where Brian Hill's injury is going to cause us issues? And Gift Orban can certainly play on the wings as well as up in the 9. Do we have enough money to do that, and to get a right back, and to get a centre back, and to get a defensive midfielder if Pierre-Emile Højbjerg leaves? Well, that would be 4 new players coming in. We've already got a bloated squad. We can't shift the debit we've already got. So I don't think that's going to happen. What I would like to see Tottenham do is to go and get a player, 1 or 2 players who can play 2, 3 or 4 positions. To me, we talked about him yesterday, Vedtruda is a player that can play right back, centre back, on both sides, and in the 6. A very, very talented player, and a player I'd love to see Tottenham make a move for. Just emerging, just breaking into the Dutch team. Good things from him. Ibrahim Sangare, I think, can play in a couple of different positions. Benjamin Pavard can certainly play on the right back and the right side as centre back. Yeah, there are options. Emerson Royale technically could fit in as a right-sided centre-back and a right-back if you wanted to go out and get an out-and-out right-back. And then use Emerson Royale as cover for Romero. I'm just saying that there's options. There's not enough time. But for me, I don't want to spend any time crying over Harry Kane's departure or sitting there trying to find reasons to make this Daniel Levy's fault. You can find a reason if you look hard enough. But you could also justify giving him a pat on the back for getting max value out of a difficult situation. Like everything in life, there's probably going to be some sort of bias attached to your opinion because of the way you feel about him generally. I would rather just say, let's move forward, move quickly, look forward to tomorrow. But Daniel Levy, you've got 3 weeks. Don't be a fool. Don't miss the wood for the trees here. Give that money to Ange, let him figure out what he needs and go again, please. And if you don't, if you're going to say that the money we've spent already was the Harry Kane money, then I'm not entirely sure that that stacks up, because I think technically the net spend before the Harry Kane deal was 140 million, something like that. So you take off the 100 million for Harry Kane, so the net spend is 40 million. But on top of that, you're already including Decky's money and Pedro Porro's money, which should have been allocated previous seasons. So really, if we're just looking at the money for new transfers this year, then with the Harry Kane money coming in, we're actually net positive for about 30 million. So to me, on that note, and on that basis, primarily, there is absolutely no justification for us not to have money to go again in the window. And you get your scouting boots on, find a player or two that can help get those deadwood out, and Tottenham will be just fine. Like, subscribe and comment, guys. And as always, bye-bye.